For more, let's turn to Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Senator, good to have you with us. The template, I think, is being set by the conservatives that if they can get Detroit to go through this, it will be so hard for other cities to do the same thing, and the road to privatization starts. Your thoughts on this? Is this a slippery slope?
It absolutely is. And it's not only the road toward privatization. I'll tell you what else it is, Ed. If in Detroit, as a result of the bankruptcy process, you see massive cuts in the pensions that workers there work for, were promised. If you think that other cities and other states throughout this country will not be saying, hey, see that? See what Detroit did? We can also make massive cuts in the pensions that we promised our workers. Another attack on the working class of this country. Furthermore, I think what you're seeing in Detroit is the result of horrendous trade policies that have gone on for decades, which have resulted in the shutdowns of tens of thousands of factories in America. Detroit used to be the automobile leader of not only our country but of the world. And yet now Germany produces twice the automobiles that we do. De-industrialization in America has a lot to do with Detroit's economic situation.
And, of course, we bailed out Wall Street. We have come to the rescue of others. The automobile industry got a loan. They, of course, have survived and doing a lot better. Why isn't the federal government in a position or of the philosophy to help out a city that once actually, arguably, saved this country back in the middle of the last century when we had to arm? We were able to make things, and we arguably saved the world. And now look at Detroit. Now we just want to kick them into the river and let them float away. Why can't we have federal help? What is the roadblock here?
Well, the roadblock is that our friends on Wall Street and the major corporations of this country wield incredible power in the Congress and in the White House. They are right now all over the Congress now fighting for lower taxes for themselves at the same time as they want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But if there is a silver lining in all of what's happening in Detroit, I'll tell you what it is, Ed. It may be a focus on the kind of disparities that we're seeing in America today. Yeah. Do you know what unemployment is in Detroit today? It is 18%. Do you know what black youth unemployment is in America? It's 40%. Yeah. The other day, the president was on television talking about Trayvon Martin, and I thought that was a very moving speech. I hope he now begins to talk about what's happening to millions of African-American kids and young people in general in this country who, as a result of this disastrous economy, are unable to get even entry-level jobs.
Well, the president did make a comment about he didn't know if he was talking about a new federal program or not. He wasn't sure if that was the road that they should travel. I'm paraphrasing here, but he wants to do something to help young black youth. I'm not afraid to say, and I think that there are more members in Congress that believe this than that want to be counted. There's nothing wrong with a federal program to put people back to work. You occupy kids, you give them something to do, they come home at night tired, and the next thing you know, they stay out of trouble. What's wrong with a major jobs program with federal dollars to occupy kids, to give them opportunities, to get them some revenue, to give them a chance to get some dignity back and some self-esteem and go forward? I know you're for it.
Well, it's not only I'm for it. As part of this immigration bill, I passed $1.5 billion jobs program for youth. Put 400,000 kids in a 2-year period back to work. Is that enough? No. Is it a start? Yes. Look, what's going on in America now is the people on top are doing phenomenally well, and we are not paying attention to the fact that real unemployment is 14% in this country, higher for minorities, higher for young people, higher for people in cities like Detroit. So we need not only a significant jobs program for our young people, we need to understand that the great crisis in this country today is large-scale unemployment and lower wages. While we're seeing an uptick in Detroit for automobile manufacturing, let's not forget that many of the new workers getting into these companies producing cars are earning substantially less than older workers.
I want to play. Go ahead, Senator.
Go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry. Well, no, the important point is we got to focus on the economy and creating millions of jobs.
We do. I mean, everybody's attitude changes when you have a job. I want to play a clip of Governor Snyder talking about the Detroit city government. Here it is.
We need to resolve this issue with city government in Detroit, because that's the last obstacle, in my view, to saying now we can grow Detroit. We can get on the path of being the great city that it deserves to be again, and that's important, critically important, to making Michigan a great state again.
That is so fraudulent on his part. This whole thing is about the emergency city manager's law, where you circumvent local elections and bring somebody in who's appointed to run it the way he wants it run. Senator, what's your response to this?
Well, I guess I'm kind of old-fashioned and conservative. I believe in democracy, and I believe in the right, as a former mayor, I believe in the right of people to elect their local government.
Yeah. And that, of course, is being taken away by the very people who are having this cast upon them. I don't think anybody would vote to take their pension away. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. Senator, always great to have you on the Ed Show. I appreciate it so much. Tonight in our survey, I asked you, should there be a race relations class in every school